West Virginia, Purdue meet on the 24th in a battle of two undefeated teams. I have a guest with me tonight, Grant from the Big Time Boiler. He's going to tell me a few things about Purdue so we can learn about their team and give a prediction on the game. Stay tuned for Hoops from the Hills. What is up, Mountaineer fans, Big 12 fans, and college basketball fans? My name is Mountaineer Paul. Thank you guys for joining us at Hoops from the Hills. We have a battle of undefeated teams on March 24th in the PK 85 tournament. It's going to be a really exciting game. Looking forward to it, and what's going to be a test for both teams. I've got a special guest that we're going to talk to today who's going to give us some insight into the Purdue Boilermakers program and tell us a little bit about the expectations for that team going forward. We're talking to Grant. How are you doing, Grant? From the Big Time Boiler.
Doing well, Paul. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Thanks for coming on while you're on the road. It really means a lot, man. We're going to try to get through this without any accidents or anything.
At this point, I've become a professional at making these videos from the road. But, yeah, I'll try to do my best.
Grant, Purdue comes into this game undefeated. I think most people that follow college basketball around the country knows about the 7'4" guy. Most Mountaineer fans will know he's your best player, and that Matt Painter wants to get him ball in the low post. He's a mismatch for almost anybody he goes against. My question to you is, who does Purdue have besides them? Because I have a feeling you guys wouldn't be ranked if you had one good basketball player. Second of all, Purdue's never only got one good basketball player.
Yeah, that's a good question. And honestly, I don't know if I have the answer for you right now as far as who's the second best player. This is a extremely deep Purdue team. I mean, outside of Zach Edey, who obviously is our best player. And more on that Zach Edey thing, Purdue's has a history now, and I think it's almost a meme where, if there's a giant out there, Purdue finds a way to get him on their squad going back from 20 years. We seem to have a good 7-footer. 7-footer on the squad, from AJ Hammonds to now Edey, just Matt Harms, and the list goes on and on. Isaac Haas, another monster of a human being. But Zach Edey's kind of, he's shared time the last couple of years with, Travion Williams, who's also not quite as big, but a very good big man. And Zach's never really played over 20 minutes a game. This year, he's actually slimmed down a little bit, gotten a little more athletic, got a little quicker on his feet. And currently he's averaging just under 30 minutes. His per 40 numbers have always been insane. And so I expect, I think right now he's averaging like 20 and 13 boards. He's probably going to be there about all season. But when it comes to the second best player, the team itself maybe hasn't been as cohesive and in a normal Purdue team like we've normally had, where, a lot of ball movement, just a lot of good basketball type players on the floor that can shoot. And this is that kind of team. Zach Edey's probably going to get his 20 points a night, and then literally, we might have 10 games in a row where there's a different second leading scorer. They go about 9 to 10 deep. Braden Smith, the freshman who actually went to my high school.
Okay.
He's a 6-foot little guard, but he's one of those guys. The guy starts from day one, and he's not good enough to go to the NBA. So he's there, literally starting every game, and just a pain in the backside for anybody that plays him. And everybody hates him that, doesn't have him on their team. Really, he's a point guard that we've never had at Purdue. Right now, he's balling out. Best player. I mean, it literally could be any of the other 8 to 9 guys besides Zach Edey.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not.
And almost the opposite of West Virginia, who can have a different guy win for us every night. We're a squad that fields. It's not your typical Bob Huggins team. This team makes shots. We went into the half of a game against Pitt where we shot almost 70% from the field. This team makes shots. Emmett Matthews goes to Washington after being at West Virginia for 3 years, completely changes his shot around, and he makes shots. Eric Stevenson, the South Carolina transfer, is shooting really, really well from beyond three. Trey Mitchell, the Texas transfer, one of the most talented big men I've ever seen in a West Virginia uniform. He's more of he could play the 3 or the 4 or the 5. Really talented guy. We've got big wings, but it'll be interesting to see for me The battle of the benches in this game because both of these teams go deep. We've played every single player on our team at points in this season. It's been wild. I'll be interested to see how both these benches perform. What are the expectations for Purdue this year? Are you guys a team that's looking for the tournament, win a Big Ten regular season championship, maybe a postseason Big Ten championship, all the above, national champions? Where is, from a realist point of view, does this team land?
Yeah, that's another great question. So I'll answer it with kind of talking about last year real quick. It's kind of the complete opposite of last year. So last year's expectations were absolutely through the roof. They started off pretty good. They got the #1 ranking in the country. We knew it was going to be a good team. A little bit, maybe overhyped a bit, but those expectations were the Final Four bust pretty much last year, and they ended up blowing it. Had the perfect path. St. Peter's took them down, so that left a very bad taste in many Purdue fans' mouths. And honestly, expectations for this year were basically just get to the tournament, and that's kind of it. Be a top 6 Big Ten team and make the tournament. However, this is more of almost a Matt Painter, baby boilers with the Robbie Hummel type team, where usually exceed expectations that are set for them by the media and stuff like that. So I guess now after 3 games, realistically, maybe a Sweet 16 type team. At least a 1-game win in the tournament, I would think. Compete for the Big Ten championship, I think, is the expectations right now.
Well, that's the expectation at Purdue. You guys have built yourself into a program that does that each year.
Yep. No
credit to Matt Painter, because Purdue's not the easiest place to win at. No offense to Purdue, but this is a Matt Painter. I am such a big fan of his. He reminds me of Bob Huggins in so many ways, from how he handles the media to the type of teams he likes to play with, physical teams that rebound. I'm sure Matt Painter probably utters the phrase, rebounding is a part of defense, because Bob Huggins talks about it nonstop. He is not happy with the rebounding performance of this Purdue team. Can you speak to that a little bit and some of the stuff he's had the team go through, preparing for a Bob Huggins team that crashes the boards probably like nobody you guys will see the rest of the year?
It's kind of always a bit of a Purdue's downfall a little bit is the glass. Zach Edey, he can be hot and cold when rebounding the ball. Sometimes they're actually, this is going to sound crazy, but they crash the boards a little too much and they're overshooting it. So I know Matt's doing a lot of box out drills. And Marquette absolutely killed them on the offensive glass the other night. But that is definitely one key, though, for the whole season is how is this team going to be on the glass.
Guys, before we go any further in the video, just want to say hit like, hit subscribe on this channel. Also, if you're not following the Big Time Bowler, if you're a Purdue fan and maybe you're watching this, give him a like, give him a subscribe. Also, go follow him on Twitter, man. He's obviously knows his stuff. And last questions. I'm going to take my last 2 questions that I had and couple them together. It seems like there's a lot of things that are up in the air about this year's Purdue team. You said that. Do you think there's an identity for this team? Maybe you're heading towards something like that. And second to that, how do you feel Edey performs in the pick and roll? And do you expect to see that all year long? Because our players have talked about it. I'm sure Purdue knows about it. And how does he perform in those situations in his Purdue career?
Yeah, so identity-wise, this is a typical Purdue Matt Painter program type, identity where, play hard, play defense. This is always a defensive first type of program under Matt. But and then offense, actually, let me go back. Defense, straight man-to-man. Matt Painter refuses to play zone, even though I think it'd be great to add in sometimes, but he just won't do it. It's a motion offense. They have like a ton of plays out of the motion. If you ever listen to like the broadcast or whatever, they'll talk about just how many plays Purdue has. It's insane. But it's straight up motion with Zach Edey and not just Zach, with the past, big men they've had for the last, 20 years. It's, feed the ball to the post and let's run the offense out of the post, pretty much. Very similar to West Virginia and, Bobby Huggins. And I know Gene Keady and Bob Huggins were friends. And I think that's probably, what Matt Painter and Bob Huggins are, pretty close to. And that's why we have secret scrimmages together. And then to your second question about, Edey and the pick and roll. Yeah, that's been an issue the last couple of years. But he's really, like I said earlier, he's really improved his conditioning just for the fact that he knew he was going to play 10 extra minutes a game. Going forward, but there's no question, and he looks to be improved on that, but there's no question he's going to get, screened to death. So big and long, that, you know, when you think you might have that shot open, you know, it doesn't take much for him to block it.
I would say so. His recovery time is probably great with that length. So this is obviously a battle of two teams that in this transfer portal era, especially on our side of things, we're really still figuring our team out. I think both teams are going to be better way down the line. Both teams. West Virginia still has an 18 points per game score. They haven't even added to their lineup yet. And Jose Perez that transferred in late from Manhattan since they had a firing right before the season. That said, man, give me a prediction on the game. How do you think it's going to go?
I think it's going to be a close one just because I'm a Purdue fan. I'll pick Purdue. But I wouldn't be surprised to see West Virginia win the game with you. Plus, as you said, you know, this is early in the season. I think both teams will probably be better down the line. And Purdue's also a team, you know, if they don't shoot very well from three, you know, I could see them getting themselves in a pretty big hole and not able to, you know, get out of that hole.
Looking at both teams, I don't think either team has been punched in the mouth yet. And you could say Marquette for you guys maybe a little bit. But listening to the interview, Zach Edey doesn't feel like you guys have been really punched in the mouth yet. Matt Painter even brought up you guys really haven't faced adversity yet. Edey said he felt like you guys are going to win that game the entire way. So I can only trust that that's probably how the team feels. West Virginia is – we're almost winning by 30 points a game. I mean, we played Pitt, which is our biggest rival, but they must not be a very good team this year. They've been getting stomped out by everybody. You know, we played a couple teams that were favored to win their conferences, but I'm not sure. Morehead State's supposed to be favored to win the Ohio Valley. We beat them by 30. We beat Pitt by 30. We beat everybody by 30. You know, Bob Huggins has come out and told this team, you can be as great as that Final Four team was back in 2010. Like you, I'm going to pick West Virginia to win 74-71. You don't have a go-to guy outside of Edey. I think maybe an issue in this game for you guys. And I'm going to say he struggles to guard Trey Mitchell in the pick and roll, who is an absolute machine. So we'll see how it rolls. But I feel like West Virginia can win this game. I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see it go the other way either. Wouldn't be surprised to see you guys win this game at all. Definitely don't underestimate them or Matt Painter coach teams. We'll go with the Mountaineers and win the game.
No question about it, though. It's a good early season test for both teams. And yeah, it sounds like you guys haven't really been in any adversity yet because you've been blowing teams out. And I will say, you know, you said, you know, the Purdue players knew they were going to win that Marquette game, but I certainly did not. I thought they were dead to rights.
Awesome, man. Well, Grant, thanks for coming on, brother. And really appreciated your insight into the game. Have a safe trip driving, and we'll get back in touch with you in the future maybe if we have some Purdue stuff coming up.
Yeah, sounds like a plan. I appreciate it.
Guys, get over to Grant and like and subscribe to anything he has going on. He's obviously really plugged in, knows what he's talking about with the Boilermakers. All right, Grant, you have a great one, brother.
All right, thank you.
Guys, appreciate you guys for tuning in to Hoops from the Hills. This video is over. Mountaineer Paul is out.